Hello, I'm Lindy, and this is Tom. Tom's new to telecoms and he wants to know what SIP is. He thinks it sounds extremely complicated, but in reality it's actually quite simple. I'm going to help Tom by explaining what SIP is, how it works, and how it can benefit his end users. Don't look so worried, Tom, I promise it's easy. SIP stands for Session Initiation Protocol, and that makes more sense if you break it down a bit further. Session initiation means to start a session, and in this case it's a communication session. And protocol is a set of rules that allows IP devices, and that's devices connected to the internet, to communicate with each other. Oh Tom, don't worry, I promise it will all make sense when I tell you what it does. SIP works by sending basic messages between two parties to signal that one wants to communicate with another through a SIP session. Now, a SIP session can be voice, video, chat, interactive games, and even virtual reality, although Gamma SIP is purely for voice communication. Ah, Tom, you're starting to look a bit happier. Is it starting to make more sense now? Oh, that's good. To be able to communicate over the internet, the end user will need a broadband or Ethernet connection with an internet service provider. Now, this doesn't have to be with Gamma, although obviously we would prefer that it was. You would also need IP handsets, although these are referred to as user agents, a PBX, which is a private branch exchange, and that enables Gamma to communicate through SIP, and a router, which routes the traffic to Gamma. Tom, do you mind moving over so that I can explain how a call works using SIP? Thank you. Meet Sally. Sally is dialling her friend Marie's public-facing number, but because the call has been made over the internet, we can't connect the call without an IP address. Gamma have a registry service within the cloud that locates the IP address and sends a message to Marie's device inviting her to connect. Before Marie's device starts to ring, a signal is sent back to Sally's device to let her know that it's trying to establish a connection. When Marie's device starts to ring, it sends another message to Sally's device and she'll be able to hear a ringing tone. When Marie answers the call, a message is sent back to Sally's device indicating that a connection has been established. Sally's device then sends an acknowledgement message back to Marie's device to confirm a connection has been made, and both parties can then begin to chat. Throughout the call, more signals are sent between each device to maintain the connection, and when either party hangs up, more signals are sent between each device to acknowledge that the session has ended. How are you feeling so far, Tom? Is this making sense? Great! I think you're ready for some more technical stuff now, so you'll need to move over again. As both parties communicate, the voice is encoded into hundreds of packets and delivered over the data connection through Gamma's national network to the other party. There's two different types of packets. There's signalling packets that initiate, maintain and end the session like we've just mentioned, and there's media packets that convey the audio, video or message to the other device. The packets are encoded into binary, which is ones and zeros, and then decoded at the other end so that the recipient can hear the audio. To enable the devices to encode and decode the messages, they will need to use a codec. Gamma supports two codecs for SIP. One is the G711 codec. This is the codec that provides a better quality of audio but uses more bandwidth, therefore it may affect the amount of concurrent calls a business can make. And on the other hand, we support the G729 codec, which uses less bandwidth, therefore businesses can make more concurrent calls, but the call quality is good, just not as good as the G711 codec. So that's something you should be thinking about with an end user before placing a SIP order. Are you still with me, Tom? Brilliant! Now you're probably wondering why people would choose SIP over more traditional ISDN lines. Well, compared to ISDN, Gamma's SIP trunking service is less costly per channel, quicker to install and set up, plus you can increase or decrease the amount of channels you need within minutes. Also with SIP, you're not geographically limited in terms of telephone numbers either. That means that you can present any number owned by you, such as a London number, when you are based somewhere like Dundee. And that can give your business a more national appearance or a more local feel in specific areas. Gamma also offer free fraud management as standard and have inbuilt disaster recovery options too.